Humm, baby.
Enjoy this great game.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Humm Baby Baseball channel. This is Eric, and today we're going over every single major league team, and I'm going to give my best player from each team as we go into 2021. Best player, and the free agents will get their own team as well. Best player meaning the best player, the player I would take first if I was making my own team, not necessarily the best 2020, although 2020 is going to be extremely influential because it's the most recent thing that we saw, and it's a huge indication of how good each player is right now as we enter 2021, but obviously we're going to consider career performance and other factors as well. Let's get right into it. We're going to start in the AL East with the Tampa Bay Rays, and so many great players on this team. Austin Meadows comes to mind. You got to consider Randy Arozarena. What the freak was that in the playoffs? He was insane, hitting 377, 10 bombs and 77 at bats. But for now, I'm gonna go with a pitcher, and it's between Glasnow or Snell. Both elite, similar effectiveness, but I'm going to go with Snell. 2018 Cy Young Award winner. He gave up less runs than Glasnow in 2020, and he was much better in the postseason, and he was dominating the Dodgers when they pulled him in the World Series. Blake Snell, I think, to me, is the best on the Tampa Bay Rays right now. Next up, we got the 27-time world champs, the New York Yankees, and they got 4 or 5 guys who come to mind. You got Judge, you got Stanton, you got Chapman, you got Luke Voit, who hit 22 home runs in a 60-game season. But I'm going to go with the ace, Garrett Cole, strikeout machine. He's got control. He's amazing. One of the best pitchers in the game, and I'm going to say the best player on the Yankees right now is Garrett Cole. Toronto Blue Jays, as of this moment that I'm making this video, they haven't signed anyone crazy. They haven't signed DJ LeMahieu yet. So as of right now, I'm thinking Hyun-Jin Ryu. Despite great seasons from Hernandez and Gurriel Jr., I got to go with Ryu. He stayed healthy. The Blue Jays won 9 of 12 games that he started, and 2 of the 3 losses, the Blue Jays only scored 1 run, so they weren't getting any run support there. So he is an ace. 9.7 strikeouts per 9 in 2020. The best Blue Jay to me is Hyun-Jin Ryu. Baltimore Orioles are coming up next, and I don't know if I can give it to a guy who's only got 126 career at-bats, but I got to give a shout out to Ryan Mountcastle. He hit 333 with an 878 OPS in his rookie year. And other than that, nobody really rose to the occasion in 2020. So for me, that leaves Trey Mancini. He missed the entire season due to colon cancer, but I think he's still their best player. He hit 35 bombs in 2019 with a 291 average, 364 on base after 2 straight 24 home run season. And word is he is cancer free and will be back in 2021, which is amazingly great news for many reasons. But one of those reasons is I think he's the best player on the Orioles. Trey Mancini is my man for the Orioles right now. Next up is going to be the Boston Red Sox. Honorable mentions go to Alex Verdugo. Chris Sale is obviously Chris Sale, but he missed all of 2020 after a disappointing 2019. I'm going to go with Xander Bogaerts here. 363 on base in 2020 with a 300 average, 11 bombs. Coming off of 2019 where he drove in 117 runs with 33 home runs. 2-time All-Star, 3 Silver Sluggers. Xander Bogaerts, I think, right now is the best of the Boston Red Sox. Moving over to the National League East, we'll start with the National League East champs, the Atlanta Braves. Obviously, they got pitching with Max Fried, Soroka, Charlie Morton now. But all that said, I got to go with the MVP. I got to go with Freddie Freeman. This man was born to hit a baseball. He's an absolute machine with a 462 on base in 2020 to go along with 13 bombs, some key hits in the playoffs. It's a no-brainer for me. All due respect to the pitching staff, I'm going Freddie Freeman for the Braves. Next up, second place, believe it or not, in 2020, the playoff, Miami Marlins. So many great young pitchers stepped it up for them in 2020. Sandy Alcantara, Pablo Lopez, Sixto Sanchez, among others, but I'm going to go with an offensive player, Starling Marte. They picked him up in a trade with the D-backs. Longtime slugger with the Pirates. Got a great 2020 with a 281 average. Following up a solid 2019 when he hit 295 with 23 bombs. 2 for 4 in the playoffs, and I think right now Starling Marte is the best player on the Miami Marlins. Up next is the Phillies, and I'm going to go ahead and go with the superstar, Bryce Harper. Notwithstanding some great pitchers, Aaron Nola, Zach Wheeler, fine pitchers, but let's be real, Bryce is the man. I don't know if he's earning his $27 million a year. I'll let the Phillies fans decide that, but what I do know is he is a superstar. He's going to knock over 100 runs in a full season. He's going to hit your 35-plus bombs in a full season. I got to go with Bryce Harper as the best player right now on the Phillies.
Following up the Phils is the National.
Following up the Phillies, we got the Nationals, the 2019 champs. A lot of big names. Obviously, Max Scherzer. Obviously, Steven Strasburg. Obviously, Trey Turner. But I got to go with Juan Soto right now. This dude is a beast. 490 on-base percentage with a 351 batting average, 13 bombs. This dude showed what he can do in 2019, especially in the playoffs, and he follows it up with an amazing 2020, proving that this dude is a stud. This dude is a superstar, and to me, the best player right now on the Washington Nationals is Juan Jose Soto. Finally, we got the New York Mets, and let's just cut through the crap. Let's just get straight to it because it's Jacob deGrom. 2018, 2019 Cy Young Award winner, third place in 2020. This man could have easily won it with a 2.38 ERA, league leading 104 strikeouts in 68 innings. That is absolutely sickening. These are major league hitters, the best in the planet, and he struck out 104 of them in 68 innings. And that's without facing pitchers. DH in the NL in 2020. This dude is crazy. 104 strikeouts in 68 innings with a mere 18 walks. This dude is ridiculous, and he's the best player on the Mets, Jacob deGrom. Moving to the American League Central, we got the Twins. A lot of big names there with Sano, Josh Donaldson, Randy Dobnak, Max Kepler. I'm going to go with Kenta Maeda. I think the dude is legit. I think that he's been in the shadows of a lot of great Dodger pitchers over the years, and in 2020, he showed what he could do. 6-1 record, 2.7 earned run average, 80 strikeouts in 66 innings, and he's done about that over his career. This dude is an ace on most teams. Kenta Maeda, I think right now, is the best player on the Twins. Coming up next, the Chicago White Sox recently picked up Lance Lynn. He's a candidate right there. They also have a young phenom, Luis Robert. They got Yasmani Grandal. They got Tim Anderson. This team is stacked, but I got to go with the AL MVP, Jose Abreu. Year after year, he drives in a ton of runs. He crushes home runs. He drove in 123 runs in 2019, leading the league, and then led the league again in 2020. 617 slugging percentage. That is Barry Bonds territory, not counting steroid years because that's video game stuff. But this dude is sick. Best player on the White Sox, Jose Abreu. Next up, we got the Cleveland Indians. I almost said it. I'd have been so canceled. I almost said... I can't even say it. I can't even say it what I almost said. The Cleveland baseball team. The Cleveland baseball team. And I'm going with, I want to say Francisco Lindor, but as elite as he is, as good as he is, I got to go with the ace. Shane Bieber is ridiculously dominant. I know 2020 was amazing, but he was also awesome in 2019. But looking at 2020, Lindor had a little bit of a down year. Bieber comes out and strikes out 122 in 77 innings, unhittable, wins the Cy Young, and like I said, he was great in 2019. This dude is just a straight-up ace, and he is one of the best pitchers I've ever seen. Right now, it's razor edge, but I'm going to go with Bieber over Lindor. Right now, if I was making my own team and I could have one or the other, I'm taking Bieber first. So, Shane Bieber it is. For the Kansas City Royals, who just signed Carlos Santana, they got some great arms in the rotation. They got some powerful bats like Soler, but I'm going to go with I almost said Whit Merrifield. He plays every day. He never gets hurt. He gets on base. He hits around 300 almost every season. He leads the league in hits almost every season. In 2020, he didn't have his best offensive year, but he committed 0 errors. He plays multiple positions. He played all 3 outfield positions. He played second base. I think he even played first base a little bit. This dude can do it all. And I think with everything he has to offer on a daily basis, Whit Merrifield is the best Royal right now. Finally, we've got the Detroit Tigers. And I'm going with... Well, shit, who they got? Obviously, the Tigers got a ton of young talent, but we're waiting for those guys to prove themselves still. Matthew Boyd was an obvious pick going into 2020, but he got rocked. He gave up like 45 runs in 60 innings and a ton of home runs. He got completely killed. Spencer Turnbull had a nice year, but over a longer period, he hasn't proven anything. I don't know if I could say he's the best on the team. I think the best hitter for the Tigers in 2020 was Jeimer Candelario, and he hit 297, 369 on base, 7 home runs. If you go back to 2018, in his only full big league season, he hit 224 with 19 bombs in 144 games. So this guy's good, and he might be the best on the team. It would have to be between him and the man, the myth, the legend, the Triple Crown winner, Miguel Cabrera. And all things considered, as we go into 2021 right now, I got to say, shout out to Candelario for a great 2020. But I'm going with Miguel. I'm going with Miggy. He hit 10 home runs. He had a 324 on base. And until one of these newcomers overtake him and really prove that they're legit, I'm going with the 37-year-old veteran Miguel Cabrera still right now as the best Detroit Tiger. Let's jump into the National League Central. We got the Cubs, so many superstars. Javi Baez, Chris Bryant, Ian Happ had a great 2020. Pitchers, Kyle Hendricks, Yu Darvish, so much talent on this Cubs roster. Who is the best? Well, Javi Baez had a tough 2020, but he is so electric. Going into 2020, he would have been the obvious pick. But the question for me is, does Yu Darvish overtake him with an 8-3 record in 12 starts and a 2.01 ERA? He's an established big league starter. He's made 4 All-Star games. He's finished twice second in the Cy Young voting, including 2020. How much weight does the shortened season get when you consider all of that? For me, it's just enough that right now, despite how good Javi Baez and Chris Bryant and all these guys are, I am saying right now, I've seen enough to say the best player on the team is gonna be Yu freaking Darvish. I'm going with you. Next up, we got the St. Louis Cardinals, and for me, it was between Jack Flaherty and Paul Goldschmidt, and I'm going to go with Goldschmidt. He had a quiet 2020, but still hit over 300. Before 2020, he had 3 straight years of at least 33 home runs. He works the count. He gets on base, 6-time All-Star. And the Cardinals, despite all their talent, and maybe in a year or two it'll change, but for now, I'm sticking with Goldschmidt as the best St. Louis Cardinal. Next up, Cincinnati Reds. For 10 years, I probably would have picked Joey Votto, but Votto career winding down a little bit. And at this point, I got to go with someone else. I got to go with a pitcher, and I can't do Bauer because he is a free agent. So I'm going to stick with Luis Castillo. 2020 wasn't his best year, but he still struck out 89 and 70. He still had a 3.21 earned run average. He was an All-Star in 2019 where he went 15 and 8 with 226 strikeouts. He is straight up filthy, and I think he is now the ace of the team without Bauer. And I'm going with Luis Castillo as the best Cincinnati Red right now. Up next is the Brew Crew, and the answer should be obvious, right? Christian Yelich. But he had a god-awful 2020. He hit 205. He still got on base. He worked the walk. He got a 356 on base. He hit 12 home runs and 200 at-bats. And when you consider everything, it was a shortened season. I am putting a lot of weight in 2020, but not so much that I'm just going to ignore everything that happened before. Shout out to a lot of Brewers who were incredible in 2020. Devin Williams, Corbin Burns, Josh Hader, Brandon Woodruff. For now, I'm sticking with Yelich. 2018 MVP, second place in 2019. This dude is legit. If 2020 was a 162-game season and he hit 205, I could not give him the benefit of the doubt. But since it was a 60-game season, I'm still saying the best player on the Brewers, despite everything, is still Christian Yelich. For the Pittsburgh Pirates, I'm going to go with Josh Bell. Despite having a tough 2020, he hit 37 bombs in 2019 with a 270 average. He made the All-Star team. 2020 was a rough year for most of the Pirates. I think their best guy was Ke'Bryan Hayes. Hit 376 in 85 at-bats, so he was a standout, but it's a very small sample. He could be well on his way to being the best player on this team, but for now, I'm going to wait for 2021 to determine that, and I'm sticking with Josh Bell based on his experience and his previous accomplishments. For the moment, Josh Bell. Moving over to the American League West with the American League West champs, the A's. I'm going to go with Matt Chapman despite a season-ending injury. He should be back in 21. He provides power. He works the count. He has an elite glove at third base. 36 home runs in 2019. He's an all-star. And right now the A's, despite all their talent they have all over their team, they're a great team. I'm sticking with Matt Chapman as their best player right now. Next up, we got the Houston Astros. Ton of talent on this team, obviously. Greinke, Verlander, Altuve, Bregman, Correa. I actually feel like giving it to Verlander because even though he missed the entire season pretty much, I think he should get the benefit of the doubt. He was 21 and 6 in 2019. He's the defending Cy Young Award winner going into 2020 when he got hurt. So I was leaning Verlander, but at the same time, he didn't even pitch in 2020. And there's so much great talent on this team. So I decided to go ahead and ask the audience with this one and see what my subscribers have to say. So let's see what the results are. The results kind of shocked me. Now, after 100 votes, Correa was dominating and Verlander was getting no traction. But now, after 267 votes, Verlander is up to 24%, but Correa still beating him at 29, but Alex Bregman has taken the lead as I'm recording this video. He is at 32%, 267 votes. That's after an entire day of voting. So it's going to be Mr. Alex Bregman. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can help with future lists like this. I'm going to put out votes and things like that. Always trying to involve the subscribers and the supporters of the channel. So please hit that subscribe button if you're not subscribed. Let's get to the Seattle Mariners, and this is a tough one. Going into 2020, you might have to go with Kyle Seager, maybe Mitch Haniger, but then Marco Gonzalez, who had just signed an extension, has a fantastic year. He goes 7-2, 3.1 ERA. But then you got also Kyle Lewis, who wins the Rookie of the Year with a 364 on base, 11 home runs, 28 RBI in a shortened season. All things considered, now I think I got to go with one of the other two guys. And I think I'll say it's Marco Gonzalez because he's got the experience. He showed he could be solid over a full 162 back in 2019. So we'll let Kyle Lewis see what he can do in 2021, see what he can bring, see if he can take over. But for now, the Humm Baby Baseball best player on the Mariners right now is Marco Gonzalez. Next is the Angels, and sorry, Anthony Rendon, but I got to go with probably the best player in the entire game, and it is my man, David Fletcher. Actually, David Fletcher was awesome in 2020, but it's not him. It's going to be Mike Trout. The man can do it all. Defense, power, speed, future Hall of Famer. He's still awesome. He hit 17 home runs in less than 200 at-bats in a shortened 2020, and this dude is straight up incredible. Best player on the Angels, best player in the game, Michael Nelson Trout. Next up, Texas Rangers. Tough season in 2020 for the Rangers, and honestly, no one really played that well other than guys who've already been traded or free agents. But as far as who's still with the Rangers who played in 2020 anyway, not much there. So we may have to pick a new player here, a newcomer to the team, because that's allowed because they're on the team right now. Now, Kyle Gibson was on the team, but he didn't have the best year. Offensively, yeah, you got Joey Gallo, you got Willie Calhoun. They're okay, but we're talking low batting average guys. I just don't see them as the best player on a team. But if that's who I had to go with, that's who I would go with. But the Rangers have made some deals, and they have added Dane Dunning. Despite only 7 career starts, he's one of the most promising players on this entire team. And they've also now got David Dahl, former Rockies first-round pick. He hit .302 in 2019 with a .353 on base and made the All-Star team. So despite a tough 2020, and despite getting non-tendered, I think I'm going to go with him. Right now, I look at that entire roster, and if I can grab one guy, start a new team, I think I grab David Dahl. Maybe I grab Dane Dunning, but Dane Dunning, again, just 7 career starts. David Dahl has had a full season. He's an all-star. Right now, I'm going to go David Dahl. Let's jump into the National League with the Dodgers, and you can pretty much pull a name out of the hat, and you're probably going to get an excellent player. That's just how it is. You might pull Kershaw, you might pull Will Smith, Walker Buehler, Jansen, Muncy, Bellinger. It goes on and on. We know all about the Dodgers, but I'm going to go with Mookie Betts right now as the best Dodger. All around incredible. Elite defense, elite power, elite speed. One of the best all around, if not the best all around player in the game. I'm going with my man,
Mookie motherfreaking Betts.
Now we're going to move on to the Padres, and candidates for me are Clevenger, Lamet, Machado, and Tatis Jr. Those are the 4 guys I thought of. Instinctually, I wanted to go with Tatis Jr. He's the more exciting player. He is the guy who's on his way up. He is a superstar. But Manny Machado has more experience, and he even probably had a very slightly, ever so slightly better 2020. Better batting average, higher on base, more RBI, better WAR, and he hit 1 less home run. So, yeah, you got Tatis Jr., who is incredible. But don't forget Lamet. Lamet is ridiculous. 12 starts, 2.09 ERA, 93 strikeouts in 69 innings. But he hasn't really had a full big league season yet. So as the best player, I think it is between Tatis Jr. and Machado. And I'm going to take another lifeline, and I'm going to let the audience vote on this one. So let's see what they came up with. And as of right now, it is an absolute landslide. Fernando Tatis Jr. dominates the vote. That makes it an easy decision. I will go with Fernando Tatis Jr. as the best player right now on the Padres. Thank you to my subscribers for participating. Hit the subscribe button so that you can also vote on things like that and be a part of the video. And also, we do live streams, everything right here. Hit that subscribe button. You won't regret it. And if you do, unsubscribe. Up next is my favorite team, the San Francisco Giants. I got to give a lot of shout outs. Shout outs are due Donovan Solano, Donovan Solano is about a .330 big league hitter. You don't believe me? Over his last 431 plate appearances, which is almost an entire season, it's a huge sample size, this dude has a .328 batting average. That's not luck. You don't have 431 plate appearances against big league pitching and hit .328 just by accident. It means you are freaking sick. But I can't say he's the best player on the team. He has some problems defensively, and we also got other guys. I got to shout out Johnny Cueto and Buster Posey, who in the past would have been easy picks. But right now, I'm going with Yaz. Mike Yastrzemski in the past 2 seasons has proved to be absolutely legit. He's got power. He's got a great eye. He works the count. He's got a .357 career on base. 8th place in 2020 for the MVP. He's our guy. I'm going with Michael Yastrzemski. 2 more teams. Let's go on to the Colorado Rockies. And they got some big names. Trevor Story, Charlie Blackmon. But I'm going to stick with Nolan Arenado. He didn't have his best year. Defensively, he was awesome as always. He is beyond elite. He has proven over the years that this dude is absolutely amazing. He makes the All-Star year after year. He wins the Gold Glove year after year. He hit 41 bombs with a .315 average in 2019. Yes, 2020, he didn't have his best year. He had .253, and I'm considering that. Blackmon and Story had good years. I'm considering all that, but I still think, all that said, Arenado was so far above everyone. He is so amazing all around that I think even going forward, Arenado for now is still the best Rocky. And last but not least, well, maybe they are kind of least, no offense, Diamondbacks. Tough year, guys. My honorary pick is Mad Bum. After that 2020 season, though, it's just honorary. The real pick, I'm actually a little surprise pick. I'm going with Zach Gallen. And I could have went with Ketel Marte. He had an amazing 2019, 32 bombs, .329 average, but in 2020, he hit just 2 homers in 45 games. This is a closer race than what we had with the Rockies, and I think that Zach Gallen really proved himself in 2020. He was lights out all season long, struck out 82 and 72 with a 2.75 ERA, and as for his 2-year career, he's got a 2.78 ERA, 10.5 strikeouts per 9, very consistent. He's 25. He is awesome. I see him having a huge 2021, and it's going to be the true test. But still, for now, right now, I think Zach Gallen is the best player on the Diamondbacks. And that's pretty much it. That's every team right there. Now, what about the free agents? I got to say the best of the free agents. Everyone pretty much knows who's out there right now. And the top 2 are pretty much JT Realmuto and Trevor Bauer. Both awesome. I'm going to go with Bauer right now. I think Bauer is the best free agent out there. He will be the ace of pretty much almost every team, if not every team. Maybe not, there's a couple teams that obviously got superstar aces, but for the most part, he's going to be an ace wherever he goes. And this dude is absolutely legit. I got him as the number 1 best free agent out there right now. So guys, that's going to do it for this list. I appreciate everyone's support. Please hit the subscribe button. Please hit the thumbs up button and check out the links in the description. Go follow me on Twitter at HummBabyBB. Check out my Patreon page as well. Check out the join button down below. Look for more videos and content coming really soon. You guys have a great day. Let me know what you think of the list. Let me know where I'm off, because I'm sure that I'm going to get some hate comments. I'm ready. I'm used to it. Let's do it. See ya!
When the Giants come to town, it's bye-bye, baby. Every time the chips are down, it's bye-bye, baby. History's in the making at Oracle Park.